Oh, hey everybody. I was actually just daydreaming about a few of my favorite things, and welcome. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. And you know, it's holiday season and everybody's looking for something new and different to put out when you're having guests over. So that's what we're gonna work on today. We're gonna do a charcuterie tray with a twist, because at VeryVera, our thing is take some of those old recipes that are tried and true and put a spin on it and make it up to date for what people are looking for in today's entertaining environment. So let's get started on a corned beef and mushroom pate. Just absolutely delicious, smells wonderful. So I've got 2 tablespoons of butter melting in the pan, and I've finely chopped a small, medium-sized Vidalia onion, and then some portobello mushroom, baby portobellos. So I'm gonna add those into my melted butter and get those sauteing. And honestly, who in the world has time to daydream during the holidays? I mean, we're all so busy. So these are some suggestions today of things that, as long as you're making it, make it big enough that you can work with it and maybe put it and use it for several occasions. This also makes a really great gift when you go to someone's house during the holidays. So we're gonna let these saute down just a few minutes, and we'll get started on the corned beef mixture. These mushroom and onions now are just exactly where they need to be, but I want to suggest that if you have liquid in the pan, that have a colander nearby that you can drain some of that off before it goes into the actual mixture. So the mixture itself for the pate calls for canned corned beef, but if you had cooked a corned beef during the holidays and had some left over, that's a great use for that product as well. So I've got finely chopped corned beef. I'm gonna add to that some Fresh Market sour cream. And then I've got a little bit of dry mustard and some garlic. And now we're gonna put those sauteed mushrooms and onions in. Oh, I just love this dish. And you know, this is going to make, I've got quite an assortment of springform pans in my cabinets, but there's all kinds of shapes that you can do for something like this, but I just particularly wanted to use the little springform pan. So now you're just gonna mix this up, get it very well incorporated. And at this point, once that's accomplished, your springform pan, and here again, I'm using a small one today, you want to put some saran wrap in the bottom of it so that that's gonna help you when it's time to lift it out of the pan. So once I've got this completely ready, then I can move it into the pan, but I went ahead and did one ahead. So this is what it looks like when it comes out of the springform pan. So that's quite a good amount for a party of 35 to 50 people. And the fun thing to do with this then would be to take some of that sour cream and just do an icing on the top, just like you would ice a cake, just spreading the sour cream all the way across the top. And then take one of those portobello mushrooms that you had left over when you were slicing, and just do some really nice slices of that mushroom for your garnish. And then you're just gonna place those in particular places along the way. So again, just continue to ice this, and fresh cracked pepper on the top would be really good as well. So that's what you're kind of trying to get when you're doing this. But let's put this in the pan now, and let me show you how that works. All right, so nice and mixed up, and it just basically just pours into this pan. And I can't wait to try this myself with the corned beef that I have left over. So I'm just gonna get this incorporated into the pan. That goes in the refrigerator, and this will last for several days in the refrigerator. So come back with me after the break, and we're gonna get started on a cheese ball that I'm gonna shape like a pine cone. It's gonna look really great on the charcuterie tray. So come back with me. Welcome back, everybody. You know, I was daydreaming when we got started today, and it's because I just love the holidays so much. As one of 5 children growing up, I can't even imagine how my mother got the presents wrapped and everybody ready for all the festivities that go on. But I hope that today that I can make it easy for you to think about ways to get some things done ahead that you can enjoy when people pop in at the last minute, or even if you're planning a get-together. So we got through with the pate that was mushrooms and corned beef, and it's iced and in the refrigerator. It just turned out beautifully. Let's get started on my absolute favorite cheese ball. And you say, oh, cheese balls aren't in style anymore, that nobody does those, but you're gonna love this. You're gonna love to incorporate this in that charcuterie tray that is so today and so what everybody's looking for. So at the Fresh Market, their cheese variety is incredible. The old recipe for this called for yellow sharp cheddar cheese, but I'm going to use a white sharp cheddar to keep consistency with the coloring on this. And we're going to shape it into a pine cone, so it's really going to be a conversation piece on that charcuterie tray. I'm going to add to that some crumbled blue cheese and then cream cheese. All right, now I've got a bunch of wonderful things that are going to go in it. How about a little bit of minced garlic? Durkeys, remember I keep introducing you to Durkeys. You're going to have that in your pantry for sure. All right, and then hot sauce, Worcestershire sauce, and then I've ground up very fine some pecans and then some fresh parsley. All right, now this is where I put my gloves on because I've got one finished that I want to show you how to decorate. So I've got to get in here with my hands. So I'm going to put on some gloves, and this is where kids absolutely love to help because they love to put on the kitchen gloves. All right, so I'm just going to mix this together with my hands. And you know, the thing about a cheese ball is that you can make little tiny ones and have those just in the refrigerator or even in the freezer. Honestly, this cheese ball freezes really well. So if you wanted to just make little small cubes, that would be a perfect thing to have on hand, whether it's in the holidays or even spilling over into New Year's, to use something like this. So just get it incorporated as best you can so that you don't have any big chunks of cream cheese. All right, so now this pine cone shape, I want to introduce you to how you can become an artist at the last minute. We've just drawn a circle here, kind of an oblong, so that if you don't feel like you could make it in the shape of a pine cone, you can lay it right there on top of your diagram, and I've got a piece of wax paper over this. But essentially, you've got it now in the shape of a pine cone. Pull those gloves right off, and then this just gets sealed up and goes in the refrigerator. But here's the one that I did ahead. And now the decorating of this is what's so much fun. So you've got the pine cone shape, and then you're just gonna start adding, this was in the refrigerator, your whole pecans at the top. And just go across, and these are the roasted, salted, you know, all those fantastic things that you can pick up in those bins at the Fresh Market. I just love to walk around and see what they have that's new. But this is the building part that's so much fun, and this will be such a pretty part of that charcuterie tray. You know, as I think through my catering years and the things that I did along the way, honestly, presentation was what we were kind of noted for. People would show up at the party, and I always wanted it to be different than the party that you went to before. If we were catering your daughter's wedding, I didn't want it to look like the one that I did last weekend. So I'm going to keep working on this. I'm going to do some sprigs of rosemary at the top, like that's part of the pine tree. And when we come back from the break, we're going to get started on another pate that, believe it or not, uses fried chicken livers. It is fantastic. Even if you don't like livers, you're going to want to try this recipe. So come back with us in just a few minutes.
Ask Vera is brought to you by Georgia Bank and Trust and Southern Bank and Trust.
Maggie Keene in Augusta writes, I'm getting ready to host my first holiday party. Do you have any tips for me? Well, Maggie, actually I do. There's nothing like a holiday party, and nothing says the holidays like lights on the sidewalk. So look around, look at luminary ideas, whether it's a paper bag or a candle or even some cool lanterns. But that is a great way to invite people into your home and showcase the fact from the minute they get out of the car that there's a festivity right around the corner. The next thing would be holiday scented candles or potpourri. Nothing like the smell of Christmas when you walk into someone's home. Serve foods that you can make ahead. That way, you're free for the evening to speak to your guests and really have a great time. Fourth, play instrumental Christmas music, or better yet, see if there's a fine art school in your area where a high school student might play an instrument. And then finally, designate an area for coats that's nearby. Walking in the front door, the first bedroom on the right, makes it really easy for people to put up their coats. Maggie, I hope that helped you with some tips. And if you have a question for me, send it to askvera@nbc26.tv. And I want to remind everybody that the Columbia County Orchestra's Noel Christmas is December the 11th at 7:00 p.m. at St. Teresa's Catholic Church. For more information, go to columbiacco.org. Welcome back, and I'm so excited about the holidays this year. I've got new grandchildren, and just family just gets bigger and bigger, and that means more presents and more fun. So hopefully you've got a lot of great things to look forward to this holiday season. But I've finished that precious pine cone during the break, and I just love it. I cannot wait to put it on the board. And that, incorporated with some whole cheeses and some of the other things that you see traditionally on charcuterie trays, is going to make this very special for an appetizer platter for you for your next event. So let's get started on the one that we're going to do next, which is a chicken liver pate. And I know some of you are thinking, oh brother, that just sounds, I'm not sure about that. But what makes this recipe so delicious is the fact that you use fried chicken livers. And honestly, I can see the lady that lived across the street from me in Cartersville, Georgia, when I was a newlywed, that just entertained like nobody's business, and she was 80. And this was her recipe, and I have it on the card with her little typing on it. Is just precious. So while we were on break, I got my onions sauteed, and they are just limp and perfect and ready to go. And so now I'm going to do every bit of this in the food processor. So it's your fried chicken livers, and I actually just picked those up. You know, sometimes you have to call ahead if you want to get chicken livers, because that's not on the regular menu at your favorite chicken place. I'm going to add to that some heavy cream. And here again, we're not messing up too much stuff. I've got curry powder. And you know, if curry is not one of your favorite spices, just leave that out. Fresh thyme, a little bit of garlic. And then the best part is the brandy. This is about a tablespoon, more if you like, and port. All right, so we're just going to now add the onions to that with the butter. All right, so let me get this in. This recipe just brings back a lot of memories. And you know, when we talk about these are a few of my favorite things, part of what makes the holidays so special is remembering the things that are your childhood memories, your special friend memories, the people that mean the most to you, and the foods that they like. So this just takes me back to being a newlywed and wanting to have, you know, parties myself and doing that. and just learning from a hostess that had the mostest. All right, so, you know, mix it up. If you like your pates, like country pates, you're gonna wanna leave it a little crunchy. Otherwise, you can pulse it as long as you want to get it to the consistency that you like. But I like mine to be a little bit on the, you know, country chunky side. So what I have here is a mold that is left over from my days at VeryVera when we did huge pates for events. But I love the shape in the triangle, as you can see here. So what I've done is put a little bit of saran wrap, and now I'm just going to make as much as I need. I'm not going to use the whole mold, but I'm going to pour this in and just use the part of the mold that I need. So again, just look in your cabinets. You might have something that you used to use years ago for Jell-O, for heaven's sakes, and you want to use that for something like a pate. And the suggestion I made earlier about doing things that can be done in smaller batches, you know, you can do this in little bitty, even in little custard cups, and pull that out. This freezes very well. So again, if you want to do it and make a big mixture of it and then freeze it in little vats that you can use later. All right, so what I've done is filled it, the cavity. I'm going to pull that saran wrap so that I get that shape at the end, and then this is going to go in the refrigerator overnight. It'll be ready to go. And I've already got one done that I'm going to garnish with the leftover fried chicken livers. So come back with me after the break. The party's going to get started. The display of this charcuterie is going to look like Christmas has already started. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Well, I'm going to just start by saying Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, because I am ready for a party, and hopefully you have gotten some great ideas today for how you can entertain, do something very spur of the moment, and maybe utilize some of the ideas that we've gone over today. So let's look at this just fantastic display of a charcuterie and cheese and fruit and everything under the sun. So what we did first today was the corned beef and mushroom pate. So look at how this turned out with the icing on the top, the fresh cracked pepper. I sliced the portobello mushrooms to go on top. And then one of my all-time favorite things to recommend is to always name things that people are going to look at and say, what is that? You know, for food allergy reasons and otherwise, I love to do my little tent cards or flags to go on the food, and I love to use my calligraphy, so I'm always looking for an excuse to write like that. The next thing is the blue cheese log that looks like a pine cone, and it just turns out so beautifully on wood. It's just the perfect thing to do, and it's easy to eat. I've got some of the other nuts around it, so it just really pops that platter like nobody's business. And then third was the chicken liver pate, just the fresh chicken livers that were fried around it, the toast points, the crackers. It just is going to spread really easily. Have a little spreader there, so they might want to just use it without a cracker, so it really holds together very well. So now that's all you had to do. You had to do those three things, and everything else is coming directly from the fresh market. Everything else is things that you can go in, and that is what has made this full and bountiful. And honestly, this display could serve from 35 to 50 people, and you're done. You don't have to go in and out of the kitchen anymore, maybe look at the crackers from time to time. So let's start here and move forward. I've got the pomegranates that are just fantastic. If you don't know how to decorate, you certainly know how to use a knife and throw one of those out. And then take the seeds and just pop them around on the tray. It really makes it look Christmassy. Just plays off the whole idea of your theme. I've got the dried, fried green beans and okra that are available in the deli section that just look so bountiful on this tray. Then moving forward, the stuffed dates, I had to throw those in because that is a childhood favorite. Watching my grandmother put a pecan half in the center of a date and then roll it in the granulated sugar. And I've got all the great meats around it, so it's a great sweet and savory option. My whole olives over here, I just threw in some breadsticks. Again, you want to consider your height and all of the different components and your colors, mixing the greens with the red, having little small utensils to use for people to grab. So my theme today was a few of my favorite things. So whether it's a bright copper kettle, a warm woolen mitten, your packages tied up with string, snowflakes, whatever your theme is, I've carried it out subtly in this display. So I hope you'll take these recipes that are available at VeryVera.com and utilize the fresh market to help you with those last minute things to do when you're entertaining. Remember, no matter what you do, do it in good taste. I think we've got great taste and ideas today for entertaining. I want you to come back with me next week because I'm going to show you how to do some things in the kitchen for great gift ideas. So come back and join me again next weekend. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everybody.